CAS and your team, let me call this meeting to order. Almighty God, who in His wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. We will then, members, welcome to the meeting. We will then want to do a round of introductions, starting with Honorable Peter Kaluma. I can see where he is.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Peter Kaluma, MP for Homa Bay Town, and a member of the committee.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Makali Mulu is my name. MP Kitui Central.
Okay. Jeremiah Kamaz Nomorkai, Member of Parliament for Loima, Member of Security Committee.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Honorable Adumuwur, Member of Parliament for Nyakach and a member of this committee.
Honorable Tekla.
Tekla Tum, County MP Nandi, member of this committee.
Honorable Ambugu.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Muneno Wambogo, MP Kirinyaga Central, and a member of this committee.
And my name is Honorable Peter Mwathi, MP Limuru. I'm chair of this committee, and we have our colleagues who are here for questions and statements. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you, Chair. David Olasankok, nominee 001, representing person with disability, a friend of this committee.
Honorable Yusuf.
My name is Yusuf Hassan. I'm the MP for Kamkunji. I'm here to ask a question.
Thank you very much. We will then move to our secretariat. Oh, sorry. Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Sophia Abdinur, Member of Parliament for Ijara constituency, and I'm here to get a response to a question I asked.
Right, thank you very much. Any other honorable member who's there? Okay, we then move to the secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Adan. I'm the clerk to the committee. Thank you.
Undari Joshua, Clerk Assistant.
Roger Skilunja, Audio Officer.
Yvonne Bundi, Hansard Reporter.
I'm Joe Kongo, Media Relations Officer.
Josephat Bundatich, Senior Sergeant at Time attached to the committee.
All right, I can see we have one member following us through Zoom, Honorable Kaunya, but his mic is off. We will get to give him when we get there. CAS and your team, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members present. My name is Ambassador Hussein Dado, CAS, Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, Jeremiah Nyakundi, Ministry of Interior.
I'm Mary Jenga, State Department for Interior.
Is that the end? CS?
Alfredo Rutere, Ministry of Interior.
All right. Okay, I think we're done with that part, which is introductions. We will then move to prosecute the matter before us, which is circulated in the agenda item paper that has been put in the files, and which each member of the committee has, and I want to have a proposer and a seconder for the same. Honorable Aduma.
I didn't get you right, Chair, if you could pardon.
Propose the agenda adoption.
Yeah.
Yes.
Propose.
Second.
Okay,
I
proposed by Aduma War and seconded by Dr. Tekla Tum. Now, in that circulated agenda, the substantive agenda item is dealing with the questions and statement responses from the Ministry of Interior. But before we get there, we will want to know whether the CAS is aware of this letter dated 15th November 2021 and a reference NA/DC/ANS/2021 in brackets 094 close brackets addressed to the PS, State Department of Interior and Citizen Services, and in which the letter has the following contents: that number one, the Cabinet Secretary should attend this meeting in person. And number two, respond to all requests for statements pending with the Ministry to be submitted to the committee by close of business on Wednesday, 17th November 2021, which was yesterday. And finally, that electronic and hard copies of the responses to questions as per attached schedule, which was contained therein, be submitted to the committee by close of business on Wednesday, 17th November 2021. That was for confirmation by the representative of the ministry. That is for you, CAS.
Thank you very much, our able chair. I take this opportunity, first of all, to apologize very strongly on behalf of the CS. It was not his wish not to attend. And since we didn't want to delay you, he asked me to kindly represent him. And also, I think he tried to communicate the same to you. As per the statements, because of the crisis we have had in the ministry for the first few days, some of the statements delayed because they were not signed. They were actually ready. Some I have even signed on his behalf, being satisfied that they are the correct statements. So I kindly indulge this House to let us continue, and the CS will be available at the earliest of opportune time. That's why I'm here, you are our able chair and members. I beg your indulgence on this. Thank you.
You know why I'm asking? Because we don't do communication in vain. You know, remember last time where again you stepped in for and on behalf of CS. And that's why this letter originated from here, say that he should attend in person. And that I confirmed to the House yesterday, that he's going to attend in person, and that's why members are here, so that they can engage. In the absence of the CS, you will then have to take full responsibility, including issues that shall be raised herein, and that those which shall be raised later on in the plenary of this House in the afternoon, because I know there are very, very many issues arising which the CS was required by the House to attend in person.
I oblige you to your ruling.
Point of order, Chair.
What is the point of order, Honorable Aduma?
Chair, it is my opinion that we are going to set a very bad precedent, because the CS is actually implying that he communicated with you. That implies that you are asking a question in which you are conversant for the sake of the members, which I doubt if he communicated with you, because that has not been clarified. Secondly, Chair, this was communication from the clerk, and they ought to have communicated through the proper channel by responding to the clerk's letter. That has not been done. I would, in my opinion, think we are going to set a very bad precedent, because some of the issues and the reasons why the clerk, in his wisdom, and the House wanted the CS to appear was because of the import of these issues, which actually would actually involve human lives, especially the issues which were raised by the member for Ariada and the issues which were raised by Honorable Mule of Matungulu. I, in my opinion, would want to go on record that the ministry might not be taking these issues with the import that they deserve.
For avoidance of doubt and put things in record, I do not have any communication from the ministry, either from the CSPS or CAS regarding the change of the representative other than the one that was required by the letter. So your statement regarding the fact that I'm aware or have been brought, thus it has been brought to my attention is not factual, and the fact of the matter is that I am not aware and I was waiting for the CS also. What is it, Honorable Yusuf?
Chair, I'm just seeking your guidance on the position of this committee and this Parliament on the April 2021 High Court ruling that CS's positions were unconstitutional and illegal. And therefore, as another center of power, what is the position of Parliament and what is the position of this committee to receive and these weighty issues that we are raising to be responded to by an official who is not constitutional. I'm not directing it personally to my friend Ambassador Hussein Dado, but generally to the ruling that was made by the High Court. What is the position of our Parliament and our committee?
Honorable Sankok.
Chair, you know, I had a question that have been postponed 2 times. This will be the 3rd time because I'm quite sure that the person who is supposed to answer is the Cabinet Secretary, and if not the Cabinet Secretary, there is an accounting officer of the ministry who is the PS, but not even saying that, I am here also to stand in for the Honorable Member of Matungulu, Honorable Stephen Mule, who had a statement, and this statement involved loss of life, and when the CAS is proudly saying that we had a lot of issues around the country, so Parliament issues are not very important. There are more important matters than this one. So, Honorable Chair, and again having lied that the CS have communicated to you, and you have proved that they did not communicate to you, you have confirmed. I think this ministry is not taking this Parliament seriously. And lastly, on the issue of CIS positions not being constitutional, I think it was a court ruling, and judiciary being another arm of government, we need to respect the judiciary. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Yeah, as to, yes, Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, I thank you, Chair. Chair, I've asked to just say something on the matter of the court judgment. The judgment was made, Chair, but in terms of operation, the courts suspended it because of the ramifications it would have. So though those findings were there, the court said the judgment would not operate to allow the government to reorder itself. And I think it is what we call a suspended order. I remember it was for 1 year or so. So the CS may appear before us, Chair, on issues other than those ones for which a direction could have been given that the CS himself must appear. And so Chair, I was going to request that leaving aside the matters which were tasked to the CS himself, the other issues could just be responded to by the CS, that we transact business.
Chair.
Well, I hear you, but and again, what is important for us to note is the fact that it is in this House that the Speaker ruled or gave direction that the people who can take responsibility and respond to statements and questions are the CS, PS, and CS. I remember that. And so that we are able to transact business in the absence of either of them, it was given at those three levels, that is CS, CAS, and PS, and that we have not had any other variation of that direction from the Speaker. But like rightfully pointed out by Honorable Kaluma, that where the CS is required to appear in person, I don't think it's right for him to substitute, because the letter which I refer to, and which you have confirmed that you are privy to the contents, says from the onset, the requirement number one is that the CS must attend in person. And that, in fact, and really, if he was not going to attend in person, then he was going to respond to the letter just like you have done before, and written that you're not able to attend for reasons that then you give, and that you schedule, we schedule another time where the CS will respond to those questions and statements that he's supposed to respond to personally. So when it's personalized, then I don't see how you substitute. And that was the ruling of the House. And I remember one time we were here, and the CS was supposed to appear in person, the committee, and he finally did, and it was sorted out in that manner. Now what I'm seeing is that we are declining back to the original position where CS was invited to come in person, and then this House observed that the CS would ignore, and therefore it was in utter contempt of the requirements of this House and the ruling of the Speaker. Do you have anything to say about that, CAS?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I withdraw the statement that he communicated to you. Usually, it's the practice. Whenever he's pressed and can't attend, and he usually communicates to you. So I'm sorry for that assumption. I withdraw. Secondly, the reason why we came, and I want members to understand that we take this House very seriously. In fact, more serious than even all the other arms of government. That's why whenever, and we didn't want to delay these things. Remember last time, the committee raised an issue that you delayed these statements, and we must have them presented to us. So these are the reasons why when he couldn't be available, and please note that he takes this House very seriously. It's why I had to appear now to handle issues like the one for Matungulu and the other statements that were delayed. So I'm sorry on his behalf, and please, if it pleases the committee, let me handle some of the issues so that we don't pile up. And you know, the time is not with us. I want members' understanding on this, now that the other ruling about our appearance has been cleared.
Yes, sorry, we are consulting. Yes, Honorable Sankok, so that we can start.
Yes, Speaker in his ruling also said that if it is a CAS who will have to come, they must have a written communication delegating the duties from the CS, that he will be the one. So if the letter is there, then I think it is now upon you but the letter must be written and signed by the CS because he's the one recognized by the House.
Well, until we get a different direction and variation to what the order that was given by the Speaker, because I remember this was a very heated debate regarding whether the issue of whether CAS can respond to questions. And in his ruling, I remember he said for us to be able to address issues even when the CS is not there, he allowed that slot the CS can respond. But the letter, normally, the response is normally signed by the CS. And I think that's a position. Unless there is a response which is signed by CS, which is not acceptable. CS.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, there is that general letter that was sent to introduce us to this House that will, in his absence, will be there. Apart from that, I don't have a current letter to say it's me coming.
No,
but there was that general letter.
Yeah, that I understand, and that's why we've been allowing you to address issues which are delegated by the CS. But what I'm saying is that the answers which are given must come from the hand of the CS. And I want to believe that is what you are going to read out now. All right. So members, we will note in our today's meeting that the CS did not attend in person, and that shall also be communicated to the House for their further processing, but we will proceed to address the business which is before us, and which business is response to questions numbers 438/2021 by Honorable Oscar Nabulindo MP, which was asked on 21st October, and as well as question numbers 439 of 2021 by Honorable Yusuf Hassan MP Kamukunji, who is here with us, also asked on the same date. We have question number 004/2021 by private notice by Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo. And question number 377 by Honorable Safia Sheikh Aden. Question number 400 of 2021 by Honorable David Ole Sankok. And finally, question number 301/2021 by Honorable George Theuri. And so that we know how to conduct this session, is that if the honorable member who has also been invited is not present, that answer will be just tabled. Because as much as we are saying we need the ministry to attend, it is also very important for us to show seriousness in the business that we are conducting. The members who ask questions and have been notified that the answers are going to be given today should also attend. In the absence of the members, we'll ask the CS to just table for onward transmission to those members.
Point of order.
Honorable Sophia.
Chair, and you did not read my name, and my question does not appear in what you have just read, but I got invitation to come here. This is the third time I'm getting invitation from this committee to come and attend and get my response. And whenever I come, this is what happens. Another day I was called, I came here, and nobody was even here. Even the whole committee was not here. And I got the message. So give me the direction and way forward, Chair.
Well, I'm trying to get from the secretariat how then you came, and I can't see your questions listed here, but I'm made to understand that there is the issue of discontinuation of police reservice.
Honorable Chair.
Which is the same as your question, but of course that doesn't mean that you should be invited if your question is not listed. And I'm sorry that if it happened, the manner you said, That's not how the committee should operate. Or that's not how committee operates. So I want to apologize for that invitation, but I don't know whether it is really the fact that your issues are also around the issues that are asked under question 377, which we will, you can sit in to listen to, or that we will need to correct that and then give you priority in our next engagement.
Chair, I think the secretary just came to me and they told me what was your issue. I told them it is around the KPR, and they told me there's a question asked by Sophia. I said, we are coming from different scenarios, different places. You never know whether they're addressing same issues. And I think with the last option that you have given will be better for me, so that, I can, ask my question properly, and in proper way I can get the right answers. I think I should just give way, so that in the next meeting I'll be able to slot it in. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sophia. And again, I want to apologize for that mix-up with our secretariat. We'll put it in order, and we'll direct that your question then becomes the first slotted question for answering in our next engagement. And sorry for that. Thank you. We will then proceed to engage, and the first engagement is on question 438. Do you have Honorable Oscar Nabulindo? Right. If the honorable member is not there, we will hear whether we have that response from the CS. Do you have that response?
Honorable Chair, we do have the response.
Please, for record, you can table it with our secretariat.
Thank you.
We move to the next one, which is question number 439 by Honorable Yusuf Hassan, MP Kamkunji, regarding the status of investigations into the disappearance of Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir of ID number 272945534. The Honorable Yusuf Hassan is here, and you should proceed to ask the question, and then we get the response. Honorable Hassan.
Thank you for the opportunity. My question number 439/2021 was posed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. Number one, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the status of his investigations into the disappearance of Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir, ID number 27294534, age 36, a resident of Kamkunji constituency, who went missing on the 13th of June 2021 in the evening on his way from Abu Bakr Sadiq Mosque, situated on 7th Street in Eastleigh, in Nairobi. A missing person report was made at Pangani Police Station, OB number OB 55/15/06/2021. 2, how many suspects have been apprehended or questioned in connection with the disappearance of Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir, whose disappearance is connected with security personnel who are alleged to have abducted him? 3, could the Cabinet Secretary explain when Mr. Dahir would be presented to his family, considering that his abduction and failure to be presented before a court of law within the statutory timelines have caused immense psychological suffering and apprehension to his family, friends, and the wider Kamkunji constituency? And 4, what specific measures has the government put in place to protect Kenyan citizens from the spate of abductions and subsequent disappearances that have been rampant in this country this year? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Yusuf. I will now let the CAS respond to the question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and also Honorable Member of Kamukunji. I wish to state as follows. Honorable Chair, Mr. Abdullahi Mohammed reported the disappearance of his relative, Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir, at Central Police Station on 15th June 2021 at 19:30 hours via OB number 55/15/6/2021. The victim went missing in Isli area and is believed to have been last seen within Jamia Mall. Investigations established that the victim was abducted in Isli by unknown people. After analyzing the CCTV footage, it was established that the abductors were not police officers. So far, 3 persons have recorded statements. Safaricom has provided mobile data, which has led officers to locate the last point of communication and the persons he has last communicated with. However, no suspect has so far been apprehended, since police are looking for clear and cognate leads. Honorable Chair, investigations into disappearance of Mr. Dahir will continue, and once he is located, he will be presented to his family without undue delay. Honorable Chair, the government has taken the following measures to protect Kenyan citizens from abductions or disappearances. 1. Security personnel have intensified their patrols with particular attention to the hotspots areas. 2. Intensified intelligence collection. 3. Mapping out of areas where such cases have occurred or are likely to occur. 4. Sensitizations of the communities on the importance of promptly sharing information regarding abductions and on personal safety. 5. Enhanced community policing and Nyumba Kumi initiative. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yeah, I confirm that is the response signed by the CAS, Fred Matiangi, and therefore I give this chance, the first chance, to the questioner.
Thank you, Chair. I must say that the first and the fundamental responsibility of any government is the protection of life and liberty of its citizens. And this is a central role for the state. It is enshrined in our Constitution, Article 26 and 29 of our 2010 Constitution. This clearly underpins the importance and the role and responsibility of the government in protecting life, the liberty and property of its citizens. In the case of Hassan Osman Dahir, and in response to the answer given by the ministry, I feel the government has failed in its fundamental responsibility to protect the life and the liberty of its citizens. And I'm terribly disappointed by this particular answer, given the fact that Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir has been missing now for 3 months, or 4 months, in fact. It is unacceptable that it has taken the ministry this long to respond to the disappearance of one of its citizens. I may accept the fact that maybe the government has nothing to do with it, but is the government telling us that after 4 or 5 months, that they're not able to find any suspect? They have not been able to apprehend any suspect, which clearly tells me that maybe there's an ugly, dark underworld there that is completely out of the control of the state. Is that an admission that the government is not able to maintain law and order and protect its citizens in the streets of its capital city, that someone can be taken in daylight and you could look at the CCTV and say, no, no, they're not police officers. And yet, it is June, July, August, September, October, November. All that the Ministry of Internal Security can tell us is that they're yet to find out who has abducted this person. Shouldn't Kenyans be fearing for their lives because there is no protection out there? So I really, I am disappointed with this particular answer, and I would like to ask the ministry to do whatever is necessary, to leave no stone unturned, to make sure either Mr. Hassan Osman Dahir is delivered live to a court of law to face any charges that may be pending against him, or to be released free to join his family. He's the only son of his mother, his elderly mother, and she has been sick in and out of hospital. And what I would say that if he's not in the hands of one department of the government, then apprehend and bring the culprits to book, and let the law take its course. Thank you.
Right, can we have a response from the CAS regarding, and reaction regarding what has been raised by the question, Honorable Yusuf?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like to assure Honorable Member that the government protects its citizens to the best way possible. And in this particular case, I just did confirm that the CCTV footage showed that it was not the police that were involved, and that 3 persons have so far recorded statements, but investigations sometimes take longer so that we don't victimize again the wrong people. So, Honorable Member, I'm sorry it is taken long, but bear with us. We'll leave no stone unturned. Thank you.
Is it the case that the investigations are continuing, or you have come to a dead end?
I do confirm investigations are on, and the police are even going through Safaricom and other agencies to know the last point, and investigations are still very hot. Thank you, Chair.
All right, Honorable Aduma Uwor.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to share the sentiments which has been raised by the ranking member for Kamkunji. And I would also equally want to express my sentiments that the answers given are a bit disappointing. One, I do not believe that even the commandant, whether of the CID or the Kenya National Police Service or the administration police, knows all the members. It would really be defeating to say that, I don't know why the ministry is quick to say that the abductors were police officers. I do not trust that even the ministers or the CAS knows all the police officers, or anybody for that matter, of even a particular country. So to me, Chair, I think the answers are disappointing, and we must take the lives of individuals seriously, because this is happening at the heart of the city and in a busy mall where people are there. So who is safe? Tomorrow it might be our CS disappearing, or the member for Kamkunji, or somebody else for that matter. I believe we really need to get deep into this in this era of CCTVs.
You react to that later, Honorable Sankok.
I'm just shocked that they know it is not a police officer, but they don't know who committed the crime. But they already know it is not a police officer. So if you know it is not a police officer, then you must have known who committed the crime so that you know it's not a police officer. So I think that answer is below standard.
CS, you may now want to respond to those reactions from members.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honorable members. You know, the first incident is to confirm if he's within our custody, the police officers. Once we confirm he is not, even the abductors might not be known to us, might not even to be known to us. So we have to thoroughly investigate who these persons are and where they are. If we had known that by now, unfortunately, our brother, Mr. Dahir, would have been delivered by now. But it's not in our hands, and we are also following all leads possible. Investigations sometimes take longer. Even outside this country, sometimes somebody is jailed for 37 years in some of the developed countries until DNA clears such persons. So we usually want to be thorough to get the right persons that committed this heinous act against our fellow citizen. Thank you.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Tekla Tum.
Honorable Chair, when you analyze this sentence, as Honorable Atum have said, the abductors were not police officers. That one really defeats the entire presentation because the people are known from this sentence. Yeah, we have not talked about going to the police stations, but the sentence, the abductors were not police officers. So that sentence can pin you down. So
I hear what every member is asking, Honorable CS, that if indeed you know that the abductors were not police officers, then means you are having the images and you have done due diligence to know that those people are not police officers, not just because of their image, but because of the details that will point out where they come from and probably what they do. Otherwise, I don't know whether it's a fact that you only saw the images and then it became the fact that they are not police officers. So how did you tell that they are not police officers? I think that's a question.
Honorable Chair, from my statement, it is the CCTV footage that showed these people clearly are not police officers. So we are following this lead and the images in the CCTV footage to carry on with our investigations, among other forms of investigations, including Safaricom data. Thank you.
Chairman.
Yes, Honorable
Chairman,
Wakili.
it would really be absurd that is coming from the Honorable Ambassador and he wanted to go on record. Does he know all the police officers? We have had cases. The case of Kimani, the advocate who was abducted by police officers, is still quite fresh in our minds. Does he know all the police officers? And if that CCTV was analyzed by specific department of the governor, then the CS might know that we may call for that evidence here. So I think if he's not sure, we would rather not labor on this point. He should take it that we are not happy with the report and we sympathize with the member of Kamkunji. But if he wants to bring it further, then we'll demand to know the agencies of the government to analyze these things and that analysis. Because I trust there's no police officer who knows all police officers in Kenya. Let it go on record that there are rogue police officers like the ones who killed Kimani.
You'll pick that together with the one from Honorable Peter Masara.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I appreciate the response given by the CS, but it's not actually solving the matter. The part where is amazing is that these people are not police officers. Now that they are not police officers, who are they? Because you can only say they are not police officers if you have identified another person to be a watchman somewhere, or a teacher somewhere, or a wanted robber. You have took from the analysis the photo of that person and matched it with somebody else. Is that way you can authoritatively say they were not police officers? And either they are pastors, they are robbers, or teachers, or watchmen, or somebody, is when that this statement can qualify to be an answer. But without that, Chairman, I think the officer should go back and bring for us a better answer than this one. Thank you.
I hear what members are raising, and it's very valid from where I sit, that there are persons which you have captured the image through CCTV. But as to whether they are police officers or not, if at this early stage you have established they are not, then the converse is true that you could have established then who they are, and therefore concluded that they are not police officers. So it's like you are exonerating the police, but not sure whether actually those ones who are captured, those images, represent some police officers by the fact that you wouldn't probably know all of them. So the question I am seeing is, why are you quick to exclude the police officers as a force from this act? It's like you're defending them ab initio, from even before you complete the investigations. First conclusion is that they are not police officers. I hear members stating that. But I see Honorable, you will pick that, and I see Honorable Yusuf. Let him react to that, and then we'll give you the last chance.
Chair, as I had expressed at the very onset, at the very beginning, I was very disappointed by this particular response, and I find it unacceptable. It just seems like a more bureaucratic action to fulfill the requirement of Parliament to answer this question. But this is a very shallow answer. It appears as if the ministry and the police do not give a damn about the lives of Kenyan citizens, because they're very quickly to disassociate the police with the abduction. But having disassociated the police from the abduction, there's absolutely no attempt to investigate thoroughly and to get to the bottom of this particular issue. It ends with that reply, they're not policemen. So just as has been expressed by other members of Parliament, whom I'm very grateful, my request is for a more comprehensive response to this particular question. Even my third point, which is the spate of disappearances. Every day, ordinary Kenyans are disappearing from the streets, and they disappear without any trace, which has created the feeling that maybe we don't have any protection from our government. Law and order is breaking down. So I think this small case, this individual case, is a symptom of this bigger crisis of disappearances, extrajudicial killings, murders, and so on that are happening. And we want to know what the ministry and the police force is doing to roll back this problem, to address this particular issue, and to rekindle, to help us regain our confidence that in fact we do have a dedicated police force that is looking after our lives, our properties, and protecting our security. Thank you.
Two issues there as to how you establish they are not police officers, and number two, what it is that you're doing to create that confidence that police officers are protecting us. I'll give you thereafter, Honorable Jeremiah. Let the CAS respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. You know, police have the power to arrest. Sometimes, whenever such incidents have occurred, even in this house, police have been accused of being behind it. And since we have images of all police officers, the first thing is to eliminate that this person was not taken by one of our own. After establishing that, then we are following the leads on the CCTV footage. And investigations sometimes are fragile and they take time. I plead with members, please give us time for the investigations to continue and for the successful conclusion of this case. Because I cannot sit here and say I'm an expert on the investigations and how it is conducted, but sometimes it takes long. So we have images of all our police officers So the first thing is to eliminate in whichever branch of the security. That is the first elimination. You can recall, Mr. Chair, where police are being accused left, right, and center. If a policeman abducted and has not taken this person to the rightful cells, then even we treat them as criminals and they are charged in the court of law. But in this particular case, we did the first elimination to remove the doubts from the minds of our people. And I would like to assure Honorable Hassan that protecting the lives and property of our people is our first mandate, and we take it very seriously. Unfortunate incidents do occur, like in this case. That's why investigations are still going on. Thank you, members. But please be assured that we are there to protect lives and property. That much I assure you. We are as safe as it can get in our turbulent world. Thank you.
Honorable Jeremiah, you have a concern?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, from the answer given by the CAS, I think it was prudent. It would have been prudent that if they knew that the investigations were not yet over, they would have requested for more time so that the investigative agencies dig into this particular incident so that they get the time to give proper answer as relates to the death of that Kenyan citizen. Number two, Honorable Chair, I think from the answer, I'm able to really detect that our investigative agencies seem not to be really even getting proper trainings as to really have the position to investigate into the matter and bring forth the right investigation. So this shallow kind of answer given to this question makes us actually doubt even the investigative agencies, whether they give proper trainings to the individuals or persons who are supposed to be carrying investigations against these particular incidences. Thank you, Chair.
You have heard whether you have challenges. Probably you need to share with us so that we can also sort it out, either legally by way of enhancing the law, or budgetary-wise by way of provision of the same, because Parliament is a budget-making institution. You respond to that with any other last one from Honorable Member for Kamkunji?
No, thanks, Chair. I don't have any extra comment or additional comments on the issue. I just expect that the ministry and the police would do due diligence. They would investigate this properly, and they would provide a comprehensive and a convincing answer to this particular question, and so that we can all feel safe in our streets, in our neighborhoods.
Okay, together with that, as a committee, we would also want to know your estimated time when you are able to appraise the committee regarding the progress of investigations.
Honorable Chair, you know, when we are asked a question, we have to come up and say where we have reached, like in this case with our investigation. Maybe within another 3 weeks, we can come up and say how far the case has reached, if it's okay, if it pleases the committee.
Yes, and that means we will slot it up for appraisal 3 weeks from now. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Yusuf, are you okay with that? I think that's not, given the fact that they have taken, I think it's from June up to now, about 4 or 5 months.
But
Then
for your information,
another 3 weeks will probably not be too long, as long as we have some appraisal.
Chair, the House will be in recess in 3 weeks' time.
Notwithstanding that, I hear you, but the committee will be operating. So we can still take it up. Right. Thank you. So we will then proceed to the next business, which is response question number 004/2021, question by private notice by Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo MP, who is not with us, but I would want to know whether there's somebody who is holding brief. Is that honorable member? All right.
Yes, Chair, if it would be not, I could always brief.
Okay, it's noted, and for the purposes of Hansard, the person holding brief should be a member of parliament. And yes, Honorable Aduma War is a member of this committee and a member of parliament. So we will want to know whether we have a response to that question. CS.
Honorable Chair, we have a response. I don't know whether honorable member that is holding brief can continue to ask questions then.
No, it's me to give direction. You just tell us whether you have response and then we will proceed. Honorable Aduma Owor, you may proceed to ask the question and then we get the response.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, this is a matter which regards the disappearance of Chief Inspector Isaac Oyaro, who was a ranger with the Kenya Wildlife Services. The honorable member, the status of the investigations of the disappearance of the inspector had actually been raised here.
Do you have the question? Order. Do you have the question?
Yes, I have the question.
Just read it as it is so that we can get that to Hansard and then he can respond.
Yes, Chair, the honorable member for Ariada constituency, Dr. Otiende Amolo, sought to be informed of the status he sought from the Cabinet Secretary the status of the investigations into the disappearance of Chief Inspector Francis Isaac Oyaro of number 7723, a ranger with the Kenya Wildlife Service stationed in Marsabit and a resident of Rarieda constituency, who went missing on the 28th August 2021, immediately on arrival in Nanyuki at around 1:00 p.m. from his workstation, where he then took a public service vehicle at 4 NTE Sacco Matatu registration number KCU 905Q, headed for Nakuru. But on reaching Narumoro, the Matatu was blocked by individuals alleged to be police officers in a black Subaru vehicle, who forcefully bundled him into the car and sped off. The member also sought to know how many suspects have been apprehended or questioned in connection with the disappearance of Mr. Francis Isaac Oyaro. He also sought to know from the Cabinet Secretary to explain when Mr. Francis Oyaro will be presented to his family, considering that his disappearance has caused immense psychological suffering to his friends, family, and the wider Arieda constituency. Could the Cabinet Secretary state how many officers serving in other branches of the disciplined forces in the country have disappeared in similar circumstances, and what specific measures the government has put in place to protect Kenyans from the spate of abductions and subsequent disappearances, that have been rampant in the country in the recent past.
Thank you very much. Then response from CAS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and honorable members. Honorable Chair, on 2nd of September 2021, Ms. Veronica Osore reported at Nakuru Police Station, VIDE OB number 180209-2021, that her husband, Francis Oyaro, age 44, an officer with KWS based at Marsabit, had been missing since August 28, 2021, and he could not be reached on all his phones. She recorded her statement and provided a recent photograph. The investigations officer circulated the information of a missing person to all police stations and requested for call data in respect of the missing person's mobile phones from the mobile service providers. The last signal of his mobile phones was traced to Naromoru or Nanyuki police stations area, and the Miss Oyaro was therefore requested to also report the matter to Nanyuki or Naromoru police stations. After analyzing the data from Safaricom, the movement for his two Safaricom numbers showed that on 28th of September 2021, Mr. Oyaro left Marsabit at about 7 hours and headed towards Isiolo. At 12:19 hours, he made an outgoing call while at Kisima Hilltop along Timau Nanyuki Road and received an SMS at 12:46 hours. The next communication was recorded on September 29, 2021 at 16:34 hours through an incoming SMS made an outgoing transaction at 13:27 hours while at Kavita area, an indication that the funds were heading back up to Archer's Post, where the last incoming SMS was recorded at 16:34 hours on 29/9/2021. Then all the other communications were diverted to a voicemail. Further investigations revealed that the officer had boarded a 4 NTE Matatu registration number KCU 905Q at Nanyuki on 28th of September 2021. The driver of the Matatu, Harrison Waweru Mwaura, was summoned to the station and recorded his statement. He stated that he left Nanyuki with the missing officer, who was brought to a stage by a KWS van and sat on the seat next to sliding door at around 14:30 hours. The driver strapped the officer's bag on top of the other luggage before locking the boot and leaving Nanyuki for Nakuru. A short while after Nakuru airstrip, the Matatu was blocked and forcibly stopped by 4 Subaru cars with armed occupants who ordered him to open all the doors. The abductors identified the passenger that had been brought in by KWS vehicle as a person they wanted. They also sought for his briefcase, which on opening, the driver states that he saw 2 pistols and some documents. They took away the passenger and his luggage and allowed them to continue with their journey. Investigations to identify the identity of the abductors and whereabouts of Chief Inspector are ongoing. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Adoma, follow-up question, supplementary question.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, this is a sensitive issue which should really concern the ministry, because we are not talking about an ordinary citizen. We are talking of a government officer at the rank of an inspector of the police. Chair, one inspector of police would actually be equivalent to about 1,000 ordinary citizens. So I just want to tell that I would recall the last meeting, members of the family were actually following this matter online, and it has caused much anguish and trauma. So I hope that the ministry should be able to give us a timeline, because justice delayed is justice denied. And the more we delay the justice, the more that the evidence could also get corrupted. This is a matter which is of great concern to the people of Rarieda, and I hope the CS will give us a timeline on which he could get back to the committee and to members of this House. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other member interested on Dr. Toom?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the 4 Subarus, did the driver put down their, what is it called, the numbers of their vehicles, or you were shaken to the core? I know if people are guns, maybe you are just crying for your life. Were there any numbers, or?
That is registration number for the vehicles that were used by abductors. Was there further identification like registration number or colors and so on? As you also answered those, you respond to those, you let us know whether in the 3 weeks that you had asked earlier, you could also give us an appraisal on this one.
Thank you, Chair. I am not aware that the driver provided the number plates. If he did, it's a matter that is not within my reach, and investigations are going on. So I oblige myself to this House that the 3 weeks we have asked for the other case will also bring up the latest on this particular one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, CS. Last one from Honorable Adoma, or you are satisfied with that response? We wait for the 3 weeks and then we can be appraised on the matter?
And let's give them the 3 weeks. This is a very sensitive matter. I don't want to belabor it further. Let's give it 3 weeks.
Very well noted, and I think that it is 3 weeks. Appraise us on this issue as well as the previous one you committed. We will allow me then to ask that we deal with question 377/2021 by Honorable Safia Sheikh Aden regarding the discontinuation of police reservist program, which question was asked on 5th October and initially scheduled for answering on 28th October. In the absence of the member, we'll ask you to table, confirm you have that response, and then you can table it.
Honorable Chair, I confirm I have the response.
So at this point, you will table and give it to our Secretariat. We will then move to the next one, which is question number 400/2021, a question which was posed by Honorable David Ole Sankok regarding details of land owned by the Deputy President, a question which was asked on 6th October 2021 and initially scheduled for response on 28th October of this year. And because Honorable Sankok is here, I'll give him this chance to now pose the question as asked in the House.
Could the Cabinet Secretary provide specific details of the parcel of land located in Laikipia County, which is claimed is owned by the Deputy President during his appearance before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on 1st September 2021. They actually purported it is 15,000 acres, including the land reference number, size, date of acquisition, and the previous owners.
You are now given this chance to respond, CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and our Honorable Member, Mr. Sankok. We were responding to a question by a provision of security to certain installations. That is why we responded that way. When we were asked to provide security to certain places, we did that. And if it came out that we said he owns the property, it's an assumption of being asked to provide security. Honorable Chair, however, the right to property and the right to privacy are protected.
Order,
Yes.
Honorable CS.
Yes.
In all the other previous questions, you gave your response in writing, which is the procedure of this House. And from where I sit, I do not have a response, so I'm not able to follow. And the procedure is not that you come and answer verbally. This is a House of record. We have to have that record in written, even as you read it out. So can you submit what you are now reading out?
Sorry for that omission. I don't have a properly done answer to submit to you. It is true. I just discovered that we didn't bring this one along. It's just my rough scribbling.
Yeah, which we will not allow. We only allow supplementary information, supplementary questions after the substantive question asked in writing in this House is responded in writing. And then you read that response, upon which then we can engage in supplementary information, which by way of you adding a statement or by way of a question asked by members or the questioner. So if you do not have a written response, then this question is deemed not to be responded to.
Much obliged, and I'm sorry for that omission. We'll bring the written submission at a later date and respond to your questions. Thank you.
Honorable Sankok.
Chair, you are aware that this question have lasted in this House for a long time. And Chair, you know, justice delayed is justice denied. This was a political statement of false accusation against the persona of the Deputy President. And now, because we have asked specific details, which I'm sure they may not be having, then they are dilly. You remember the other time I came here waiting for the answer. And I'm a Christian, and the Bible is against false accusation. So if they falsely accuse the Deputy President as owning 15,000 acres of land in Laikipia, which the Deputy President went ahead and said, if I own that land, let it be distributed to the squatters and the hustlers around that area and subdivided to them. And we actually wanted to know if the subdivision have already been done, how many people have been allocated to that land. If they don't have, it is just very easy for the CS to say it was a political false accusation, so that at least even the Deputy President can feel relief that what was being said was a lie against him.
So, well, that's a statement of information that is also hanging in the absence of the answer. So it is the position of this committee that we need, today being Thursday, and it's a sitting day, that we need this written answer. And in due regard to when it was supposed to have been answered, that is on 28th October, and noting that today is 18th of November, we're just almost getting to 3 weeks after that. So we will give you as a ministry 3 days to submit your written answer, and that is by Tuesday and next week. Right.
Much obliged. Thank you.
Well, we have dispensed with that matter unless there is any point of order you are raising, Dr. Teklatum.
Yeah, Chair.
We don't want to speculate. We want that answer to
Chair, I'll not add anything. Thank you for what you have said, because all the questions have to be written so that people cannot just say somebody influenced. That is why there was no information. As you have said, Chair, I'm supporting you. Let a written report be brought to the committee.
Very well. We are dispensed with that. Honorable Sankok, we have put by close of business on Tuesday next week, and that the CS has obliged.
Thank you, Chair. I do appreciate, and I'll avail myself on Tuesday so that if they can give me the answer, I'll be very happy. And you being what we call Mudhuri wa Mudhegi, we always respect you. You know, there are only 3 people in this country who have the power, that tradition, leadership, Rungu, and that is you, Uhuru Kenyatta, and our Speaker, Justin Muturi. So I do appreciate.
I hear you. That's a light moment. But let's move to the next business, and the last one is question number 301/2021, a question posed by Honorable George Theory MP regarding the destruction of property in Molem Ward, Embakasi, which was posted on 11th August 2021 and initially scheduled to be responded to on 7th October. I don't know whether Honorable George Theory is in the house. Him being not in the house, confirm, Honorable CS, that you have response to that question? And for that, this matter, written response. Let me make it clear. Do you have a written response to that question?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Very well. The member not desiring to be present, then we will ask you to table for onward transmission to the member, and it will have been deemed to have been answered. Whether it's satisfactory or not, he will find out, and then he can pursue the matter in the right of channel that this House has always prescribed. If you can table that, then that will bring us to the end of the business. Very well, let me see. Yes, can you raise that issue again? Honorable Ole Sankok?
Yes, Chair. There was there was a statement on the alleged disappearance and subsequent death of Bakar Muli Nduva by the member of Matungulu constituency, Honorable Stephen Mule. And as I had indicated earlier, I'm here standing in for him, and even he had communicated with the Secretariat that I will be here standing in for him.
Now, Honorable CS, do you have that statement? And I'm asking that, and I have the prerogative to allow that to be asked because on 2 previous occasions, the ministry has indicated that the answer would be coming in 3 days, which never happened. This issue was raised in the House only yesterday, and I undertook to give the status of the statement as to whether it has been submitted or not. And if you have, allow me then to allow you to give the full facts of that statement at this juncture.
I do, Honorable Chair.
Please proceed, and you will read the statement from the first paragraph.
I read the question.
Yes, from the onset. No, let him read, because I know in the statement it gives a lot of facts, but I want him to read the answer as contained from the first paragraph. That will answer to the issues raised in the statement, and you will get a copy and see. So proceed, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This is a statement on alleged disappearance and subsequent death of Bakar Muli Nduva. Honorable Chair, the member for Matungulu constituency, Honorable Stephen Mule, has requested for a response on alleged disappearance and subsequent death of Bakar Muli Nduva, a resident of Matungulu constituency. The honorable member particularly sought to be informed what led to the disappearance and death of a young man. 2, why police officers in Tala Police Station took so long to relay the correct information to parents of the deceased. 3, whether the ministry has identified those responsible for the death, the status of investigations into the death, and action taken against those involved. 4, whether the government has commenced an inquest into death of Mr. Nduva. 5, whether the ministry could consider compensating the family of the deceased for the loss of a loved one, and within which timelines. Honorable Chair, I wish to state as follows. Honorable Chair, on 18th of December 2019, Jacinta Kithei Kingo reported at Tala Police Station via OB 38/18/12/2019 that her former husband, Abubakar Muli Nduva, came to her shop situated near IEBC office and threatened to kill her. On 11th of July 2021, the same complainant via OB 1911/7/2021 reported that at the same station that the same suspect had threatened that he will burn her business premises and that he would continue pursuing with her in an intention of causing physical harm as long as she continued living in Tala. Again, on 4th of September 2021, Ms. Jacinta reported via OB 10/4/9/2021 that she was assaulted by Mr. Muli Nduva. A case file was opened, investigations commenced, statement recorded, and a P3 report filed at Kangundo Level 4 Hospital and returned to the police. The police then started looking for suspect by name Abubakar Muli Nduva, the complainant's ex-husband. On September 16, 2021, via OB.12/16/9/2021, Jacinta again reported that the deceased had demanded that she either opens her door for him or risk being killed. The complainant was assured that police would do their best and arrest the suspect. In the evening of the same day, police officers from the station on mobile patrol sighted the accused within Tala Township. He was arrested and taken to Tala Police Station and booked via OB number 03 of 17th September 2021 at 00:25 hours to appear before Kangundo Law Courts the following morning to answer charges of causing actual bodily harm contrary to Section 251 of the Penal Code. Unfortunately, Honorable Chair, Mr. Mbuvi died under circumstances that are currently under active investigations by Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, and the DCI Matungulu, that is District Criminal Investigations Officer. After the postmortem, the pathologist formed an opinion that the death must have been caused by a head injury due to a blunt trauma. Pending toxicology results, all officers and civilians who are in contact with the deceased have recorded their statement. Honorable Chair, the investigations are in their advanced stages, but still premature to state whether the matter will be subject to a police inquest or not. Nevertheless, I wish to assure the family members and the residents of Matungulu constituency in general that the government is committed to conclusively investigating circumstances surrounding the death and the appropriate legal action to be taken against those persons found culpable. Honorable Chair, the government has no vote for compensation. However, the family may file a claim through civil process and let the court decide how the compensation should be dealt with. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
First, supplementary question from Honorable Sankok.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Stephen Mule really wanted to be here because he really wanted to ask a lot of questions concerning this. But because of unavoidable circumstances, he is in his constituency in a burial ceremony of a relative. So, Honorable Chair, all these facts that have been stated here may be true. But the pertinent question is that when the deceased died in the police custody, the police took him to Tala, I think district hospital or something like that. After taking him there, he was referred to Kenyatta National Hospital. And then he was taken to Kenyatta National Hospital, where the doctors confirm he's dead on arrival. And then the family, the police officers went to the family at 4 a.m. and told them that they have the deceased in their custody. The family now had to look for the deceased from Tala police station for the better part of the following day. They went to the hospital where he was told that he was taken to the hospital from now the police station. When they went there, they were told that the deceased was referred to Kenyatta. The whole day and the following day, they were looking for the deceased. Now the question, Chair, is why were the police officer hiding the information? They already knew that he's dead and as that he's in Kenyatta mortuary, Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary. But they did not tell him straight away, or they did not tell family straight away that he is there. They kept on hiding the information. In fact, it is after 2 days that they now got their body in Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary. But they were not given the correct information. So what is the secrecy around the death of this Mr. Muli Nduva Bakar? Thank you, Chair.
CS, can you respond to that?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Member. We are not privy of that information that police were hiding information. However, all that were the family had complained, and it forms part of the investigation. I assure you, we have just admitted that he was within police station when the unfortunate incident occurred. So this is a matter under active independent policing authority and the Director of Criminal Investigations. So the matter is active. Thank you.
Now, I have an interest, Honorable CS, in this matter, that indeed the police, and this fact from your statement, the police arrested Mr. Muli Nduva. The police took Mr. Muli Nduva to the station. He was booked and he was to appear the next day to be charged with causing actual bodily harm contrary to section 251 of the Penal Code. So at that point in time, the late Muli Nduva was in the custody of police. They are not saying, as at the time of arrest, that they arrested him with injuries. They are not saying that there was any assault also on him. But the quick statement that follows and leaves a huge gap is a statement which is unfortunate, which says, unfortunately, Mr. Muli died under circumstances that are currently under active investigation by the Independent Police Oversight Authority and the DCI Matungulu. So it's a case you have arrested somebody, you have not seen or stated that they were attacked or they were injured, but somehow in the night, he dies in the hands of police. But now you don't want to say he dies in the hands of the police because he was in their custody. Is that he died in circumstances that are actively under investigation by IPOA. Where is the role of the police in the circumstances that led to the death of Mr. Mulinduva? This is a clear case. It's not even like the one you were grappling in the dark that somebody was abducted and so on. You are telling us that this young man was arrested by police. He was in the custody of police, and now he dies in unclear circumstances. Are you not saying he was killed by the police, obviously? Or are there people inside a police station who sit inside without the authority of police who can kill somebody while in custody, and those people are not police officers and are not known, so that we are investigating? Probably by now you'd have charged somebody who had put this person under their custody, because they are not saying he was injured by the time he was arrested.
Thank you, Chair. Can I respond? You see, there were so many speculations, even trying to say the person took acid. I don't want to go there, because that is why an independent policing authority and the DCI were brought in to investigate the very police officers, among others. If we were to follow the kind of answers they were trying to give us, this house we will not even understand. But now, that is why we felt police cannot investigate themselves.
Order,
Yes.
Honorable CS. You know, in this house, there were some 6 police officers who dealt with 2 young men from Chikenjokoma in Embu, and who were arrested immediately thereafter, notwithstanding the fact they're saying you took acid over. That will come out later. But the person, if I come to your house, Honorable CS, and I die in your house and I was not sick and I was not injured, whether I did whatever I did, you are an accomplice. You either gave me that whatever I took, or you know something about it, that you will say when you are prosecuted. So when you start treating police officers with some favoritism, that yes, you can get somebody, he dies in your hands, and the police officer is not saying that he took acid. You are not even saying from your postmortem report that the doctor found that he had taken that acid you are alluding to. In fact, you are saying it was a blunt object in the hands of police, so that means he was hit. And I don't know whether you're saying he was hit with acid. Who hit him in the inside police custody? You know, this is a question that I'm also, and you know, I'll be reading this statement in the afternoon, and I know those questions will arise, and I want you to give me light on what I'll have to tell this house.
Thank you, Chair. I think maybe I was not understood. I said we dismissed all the other kind of things they tried to come up with. That's why the postmortem was done, and it was very clear that a blunt object was used. This is when we brought in now Independent Policing Authority and the DCI to investigate the officers that were in the station or that arrested him.
Point of order.
Yes.
I will give you, and I want to pursue this to logical conclusion. There was suspension of the Kianjokoma 6, let me call them that,
Yes.
immediately after it was discovered that those 2 young men in Embu died under their hands. Whatever it was the case, have these police officers who were there that day, have they been suspended, or they are still in that station interfering with investigations?
Honorable Chair, We were told they are subject of active investigation. I will inquire and report back to the House.
Do you
Well-
hear me, Honorable CS?
Please, sir.
Yes, that in Kenjokoma, which is exactly almost a replica of this, those were suspended immediately. Are you can you confirm or not whether these officers are still in force and are still in that station? If you are not able, tell us so.
Honorable Chair, once we hand over the case to IPOA and the DCI, unless we inquire to find out whether they have arrested them or whether they have been suspended, that one I can only inquire and give it to you. We don't interfere with IPOA and the DCI once the investigating officers that are responsible for some of these things. Kianjokoma, the circumstances were...
They were exactly the same. I read the statement here.
Yes.
And it was interrogated by members while I was seated there, the
Yes.
entire house.
Yes.
And what is obtaining here is exactly what was obtaining then. And those ones were suspended. And IPOA recommended. And within 3 days, they were arrested and they were arraigned in court. Same circumstances.
Honorable Chair, in this case, I don't know what IPOA recommended. That man, I am not privy, but I'll inquire and give the House the answer.
Before I make a ruling on that, can we have Honorable Aduma? You're interested?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Chair, I'm interested because I'm privy that there were a lot of tensions in Matungulu where this incident took place. And actually the reason why the member is not in the committee, I had a word with him yesterday, was because of the building tensions in that place. I would not be surprised if you would get reports of an incident in that area, which may be the ministry in their wisdom have decided to ignore. Chair, I'm afraid, and I know the issues you've raised were equally lingering in my mind, and you might not get really credible answers. But what I want to say that I don't really expect much from the ministry and the CS, because we look at the circumstances, and it might constrain us the more he belabors the point, which I know will not answer your issues. It might constrain us now to get him so that we get verbatim reports of the OB numbers which he has alluded to in this long statement, so that we could get to the actual wordings if he'll want us to go that way. Chair, we already have a pathological report from a pathologist, and I trust that was a government pathologist at the instance of the police, which is talking of the person died out of a blunt object injury. Chairman, I know that people never carry property or object into the cells. We might also need to know how many persons were in that particular cell where this person died. And those reports could only be available from the OB entries. Chairman, if it will be necessary, I also want to also correct the CS that IPOA is an independent body, and you cannot say you've handed over a matter to them. If that was so, then we would not be asking you all these questions if you told us, because we have the mandate to call IPOA to come and report on this particular matter to us. And we'll do that if it will be necessary. So I trust that we really need to get proper reasons. You've seen the injury, and it was a blunt object injury. Somebody has died in the hand of the police. So this matter should be taken seriously, because there's tension. I'm privy to that even at the moment in that area. And CS, I would sympathize with you that probably you are not getting accurate reports. We do not want to appear when you appear before the committee like it is an exchange, because we are serving the same government and we need answers to some of these things. So if you are not ready, the matter is with IPOA. We have the mandate. This committee can call IPOA and we get to the root of these things. I've also looked at your report, Chair. I'm sorry, I'm taking a bit long, that you are not even giving us the specific names of the police officers who arrested this guy. We are only saying that reports had been made and he was arrested by this officer. We do not know whether he was one or two police officers who arrested this guy. So we presume he was in good shape. Otherwise, the police acting within their mandate could not have put somebody in the cells who they knew was sick or had injury. So take the matter seriously. We plead with you. Get accurate reports from these fellows, the ambassador. Don't come to Parliament to defend what is wrong. Thank you.
Yes, can we have a response from the CS?
Thank you, Chair. I was as open as he could get when I said I even reported the pathological report showing that a blunt object was used and that IPOA was called in the houses at Liberty to invite the IPOA. I don't want to go more than this. I will follow the direction that the committee gives. I'm at the privilege of the committee to decide on what else they require from us as a ministry. We have reported as honestly as we can on the investigation, how this person was arrested, the pathological report. We didn't cover all this as a ministry. And we had to return this answer once or twice to get more information. You remember, this is what we said last time. Thank you. When my colleague appeared.
There was an answer. I can tell you and correct your position, is that every time, the previous 2 times, your colleague said that they received the answer, which they didn't share with us, but the answer to them seemed inadequate. So we were not privy to what they were saying is inadequate. But even then, what has come now, to me, it means, and as a ministry, you really need to get the bottom of this one. Because independent of IPOA, you should have taken action. You cannot tell us that a Kenyan is dying in the hand of police and you have nothing to do until IPOA does whatever they're supposed to do. In the absence of IPOA, is it the fact then that people will die in custody of police officers and then that is left to just mellow down like that, fade away like that? So that IPOA is so independent that even within your system, there must be a way of fixing the things that are being done wrong by people who are in that system, even here in Parliament. We cannot wait for the court to undertake all action. There is a disciplinary mechanism for us here, even as you take matters to another institution. So I'm asking a question which is the big hot potato that will come up. Isn't there a way that your ministry deals with your rogue officers from the onset, that somebody has died in their hand? This one is not like the others. We are trying to say these were not police. CCTV is showing some images. They are not police. This is a person dying in police custody. This is a person who was not reported from the statement that by the time he was arrested by the police officers had injuries. But this is a person then who dies in the hands of police out of injuries caused by a blunt object. Now, inside police custody, who else? It must be those police officers who were in charge that night. And the minimum I would expect you to be telling us now is that if indeed those police officers are still in force, that you are going to ensure that they are suspended pending investigation. How do you do investigations when those people who are suspected to have caused these injuries and of course the death are a part of the system that is investigating? Honorable Sankok.
I think the CAS, with due respect, was totally unprepared for this answer. Because if the question was asked 1 month ago, and you are preparing to come and answer, and give an answer to this statement, and you don't even have the name of the police officers who are present, and you are purporting that it is not you, it is IPOA who will take action, which I know is wrong, because it is not a power which will take action, it will only recommend. And we saw, Honorable Chair, as you have stated, what happened with Kianjo Koma. I'm not even there. Even 2 days ago, what happened in our committee maximum prison, security prison. When the inmates escaped, the action was taken immediately. And the head of prison was suspended and the other one sworn in. And you are just being asked, are those police officers still there in the Tala police station? You don't have an answer. So what did you come to report to us? To report to us that investigations are going on. We know the investigations are going on. What we expected you to find before you come here was the name of the police officers who arrested the deceased, the police officers present on duty when the deceased was put in custody, the police officers who took the deceased to hospital and who brought them to Kenyatta, even the number plate of the vehicles involved. But coming here and saying that you are not aware, you are waiting to be informed that whether they are still in office or they are still in the same station, I think you are not prepared to answer this question at all. Thank you, Chair.
All right. We are not belaboring the point, but it is the consideration of the committee that you will submit supplementary information regarding this, and in particular, the officer who is in charge of that station and the officers who were on duty, their name and force number on the day that this death occurred. That you can do in 1 week. That is by Thursday next week.
Obliged, Honorable Chair. Although we were never asked for the names, we only answered the questions the way we were asked.
Yes, but that is supplementary information. I put it like that.
Thank you.
That you'll give us the name of the officer who is in charge, and of course the name of officers who were in charge on that night. Not all of them, but those who were in charge on that night, and their force numbers. Thank you. Do you have any other statements? Not read, but just to hand over or table to our Secretariat?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we have an answer to question number 10, 2021, abduction and subsequent killing of Cynthia Makoha. We have an answer. And also, statement regarding kidnapping and disappearance of persons in the country, asked by Honorable Member for Lafe constituency, Honorable Mude. Then we also have a statement regarding processing of local intelligence information in order to deter banditry attack in Laikipia. We also have a statement on alleged failure to set aside land for proposed Kotetni Secondary School from Kodiaga prison land. Finally, we also have a statement on entry of large number of foreign nationals into the country, asked by Honorable Member for Kisumu East constituency, Honorable Shakil Sabil. We also have a statement regarding delays in issuance of national identity card by Sabauti constituency, Honorable Member Caleb Amisi Luyai. We also have a statement on policy on deployment of police officers. I think those are the statements I have.
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much for that. At least we can now see that output. As regards the statements, and the answer to the question, you will submit them. I'll proceed to relay the same to the House. But as for the question, we shall schedule a time when we are engaging next, so that we are also able to alert and inform the member to be present in case of any supplementary question arising from the answer. So you submit that answer to the question and the statements, and I'll process them in the House. Thank you.
Much obliged, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, members. Any other business? There being no other business and knowing that we are in the main chamber, I'm advised that it needs to be cleaned up for the afternoon sitting. That then brings us to the end of our engagement. Remember the timelines we have put, Honorable CS, and especially in regard to the supplementary information and appraisal to the questions that are raised, and in particular, the one that you are submitting by end of day on Tuesday. That's a written answer to the question by Honorable David Olesankok. So that brings us to the end of our engagement, members. The next meeting will be by notice. I thank you.